Hi, I'm Tom from Self-Sufficient Mercantile. Today we're going to put together a Vego Garden, which is a really cool raised bed garden. The one we're going to do is going to be 5 foot by 2 foot, and you can do about 4 different configurations of this kit, but I'm going to do the largest configuration just to show you how easy it is. So the first thing you're going to need is a couple of tools. One, a Phillips screwdriver. I like the short one because I don't want to be too far away from the wall. It's just easier to work. And then you need a 10mm wrench. I believe that they have a wrench inside here, but I'm going to use a socket. It'll be a lot easier to use, a deep socket. And this kind of gives you an idea of the different configurations that you can do with this particular kit. They have a bunch of different kits, but this is the one we're going to do today. You've got your corners, you've got your straight pieces, and then you've got your bolts, washers, and nuts. And there's 2 different types of nuts, and I'll show you why you have two different types of nuts. And of course, this is the last piece here. That's the actual top that goes on top of the Vego Garden. You can see I put it on this round one here that help protect you from getting cut and stuff like that. They're very well built, and we'll unbox it now. Got your hardware here, got your instructions, and you can see in here how it's packed. You got your corners, you got your straight pieces. So what I usually do is I just pull it all out. Now these do come with a protective cover. Usually I take this one off because it's has so much air in it, but if you want to leave them on until the very end, it's probably better so you don't get scratch marks on your paint. Anyway, so I'll set these aside. Pull these out. These are your straight pieces. And what I like to do is kind of set up the corners because they'll stand by themselves. So I'll just do this. These are going to join together. And these are going to join together. And you could flip them whichever way. They're both the same. It doesn't really matter, which is cool. And then the hardware, what I like to do is cut it open here. Pour it out. It's nice to do on a flat area, level, just so you get everything level, nice, before you set it in the garden. You know how dirt's uneven, so that's what I like to do. And then I just dump all this out. And this is that wrench I was telling you about that comes with the kit, but I'm not going to use this because I've got my socket wrench. It will be a lot easier. The easiest way that I found to do these is to take all the nuts. I mean, it looks like a crazy, bunch of nuts, so I just separate them all. These are the round head nuts. Now where these will go is there's 2 on the top, and the reason why they're round on the head so you don't scratch your hand when you're working the soil on the top. Down below it doesn't matter, you'll just use these nuts in the bottom. So that I'll separate these. And we'll come back to this. Okay, so as you can see, I've got all the bolts and washers and nuts separated in their own little compartments. And if you'll notice on these washers, I don't know if you've ever seen washers, but usually there's a rounded off side there, and then there's a sharp side. So what you want to do is you always want to put the sharp side against and the round side out. That's how they're designed to work. And what I like to do with these is just put the bolts and nuts in loosely, do the whole thing, and then we'll go around and we'll tighten them in a sequence. But we're just putting it together now. It's no big deal. Just line the holes up. So I'm going to start with the bottom here. Stick that on there, stick that washer on. And this bottom, since it's on the bottom, we'll take one of these regular nuts. Another one. So we're going to have 4 of the regular nuts and then 2 of the rounded off nuts on top there. That's how they've got it set up. It's very, very easy. And I like to have this on the inside because it's just handy. And that's what I'll be doing most of the tightening from the inside of the unit itself. So, okay, so I've got one more of the regular nuts to put on there. Okay. So now we're going to go to the cap nuts, is what they call them, I believe. Those on there. Washer. I mean, if you don't get the washer exactly perfectly right, it doesn't really matter. It's just something that if you do a lot of stuff with washers, you kind of know that already. So, go there. And do another round nut. So, as you can see, as you're going down working the soil and you rub on that, it's not going to be a big deal. But if this is sticking out, it could, you know, cut you or something like that. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and do the other corner, and then I'll put the straight pieces in. And it's not really critical in how they go. It's pretty much personal preference. So I'll go ahead and do that, and we'll come back to tightening them all up. Well, that pretty much wraps up this idea. I'll finish it off and then we'll go into the tightening process. Okay, so I've got all the bolts, nuts, and washers in all the way around the Vego Garden. And as you can see, I do have a few extras here. So probably just put them in a bag and put them in your junk drawer or something. Hopefully you find them when you need them. Anyways, what I'm going to do, the plans say to tighten this straight units together as one and these units together as one before you assemble them together like this. But what I like to do is I like to have the whole garden sitting so it's going to rest where it's going to rest. And what I'll do is I will tighten all the bottom ones and all the top ones all the way around. And then I can come back and finish up the middle, because once I tighten the bottom ones and tighten the top ones, it'll hold it in place. So I don't have to worry about if I'm tightening the wrong ones at the wrong time or something like that. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to tighten these top and bottom. And I'm going to tighten the ends top and bottom. Same here, same here. And then I'll tighten the top and bottom of this, 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 and this. And then I'll be done. I can just tighten the rest of them as I want to go. So I'll go ahead and get started here. Again, it's a 10mm socket. I use a deep socket just because it keeps my hand further away from the side here, which it'd probably be fine with a regular socket, but I just like it like that. So I'm going to do the bottom first. Again, I'm turning the inside so anything that wears out, it's gonna, or anything that's going to rub is going to rub on that washer there. So fairly snug. Go up to the top. Tighten the top. I guess I could just Then I'm going to go over to this side. Tighten the bottom. Top. And then I'm going to go over here on the end. Tighten the bottom. Top. And the thing is, this is just a way to hold dirt. So if it's not perfect, it doesn't really matter. You know, it's just a dirt container. So if you think, oh, it's uneven or something like that, it'll settle regardless of what you do. So it'll be fine. It's very, very simple. It's a great design. You know, we built a, we had a farm up in Montana. We built a root cellar out of an old grain bin, because the idea was that the grain bin is made corrugated and it was round. As the dirt would press against it, it had strength because it was pressing against itself. And this thing was like 18 feet in diameter and 8 feet deep, and it's still holding good. But of course it was in rocky soil, so the rocky soil is helping a little bit with that. But that's the whole idea with this corrugation. It has its own strength just the way it's built. Okay, so I got the ends, I got the middles. Now I'm just going to come in and do these guys. Again, the top and the bottom only, and then I'll come back and I'll just finish them all off. course, with that grain bin that we did put in the ground, we did coat the outside with tar to keep it from the water from damaging it or rusting it out. You know, it's just a design. It's like a culvert underneath a road. It's built the same way, corrugated. That's what makes this so nice. I mean, I did do some wood garden boxes out of redwood. They look nice. They are very nice, you know. No treatment at all, but they do wear with the sun and the weather after a while. Whereas I believe these will last quite a long time. So it's, and they're really not that expensive for what you get. So what we probably do, in our area we have a lot of gophers. So what we'll do is we'll lay down like 1/2-inch hardware cloth on the bottom before we put this down to keep the gophers from coming up into it. And that should be enough for quite a while. And then the nice thing about the sides being metal is that mice can't climb up this either. That was another thing with the garden boxes. The mice could still climb up and then get into your garden and eat a bunch of seeds and whatever else they're going to do. So this is a very nice setup. Okay, one more here. Okay, so now I've got all the joints tightened, and I'll just come around and finish all the rest of them off, and I'll be ready to go. Okay, so I've tightened it all up, and now before I put this ribbing on, I just wanted to go over one thing, because these pieces do come with a coating, protective coating. So I haven't taken this off yet. I'm just going to leave it on now because this is a store display, but you would just peel that off on the outside. I think it's better to do it as they're after it's together. That way you don't scratch stuff while you're putting it together. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and put this ribbing on, and what I'd like to do is just kind of start it away from this edge here. Maybe I'll start it here. This might be less. And let's put it all the way around. Anyways, that just lays down, goes over top of the next one. Let me put these down here. Oops. Get it over both of those. Okay, come on. Just kind of pull it, force it on there. There it goes. But it's really nice stuff. I mean, this is like, this whole setup is pretty cool. And the nice thing about these too is you don't have to just leave them on the ground. Say you want to bring it up as a raised bed, you can always build a frame, like a wooden frame. Put some cross braces across that'll hold the weight of the dirt, maybe 4x4 corners. And then what we did before is you put like hardware cloth down, or even welded wire that's got some strength, and then you can put some like landscaping cloth over top of that to hold the dirt, and the water will breathe through there. Anyways, that's about it. And I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and when I get to the end there, I'll just trim it off and you'll see the finished result. Okay, now we're at the very end here, and you can see there's some extra over there. So I'm going to try to cut this close to where it'll be butt up against there, hopefully. That's pretty good. So that's the finished product. Nice little Vego garden. That's a nice size, 2x5. You can plant a lot of stuff there, some tomatoes, lettuce, whatever you want, beans. Love them.